Shifting focus to some other crucial developments, we're now learning that a Canadian government report has flagged concerns over terror financing linked to Khalistani terrorists. Now, according to the new report released by the Canadian Department of Finance, several terrorist entities, including Khalistani groups, continue to receive financial support originating from Canada for activities linked to politically motivated violence. Canada has reportedly long been seen as a base for groups such as Babbar Khalsa, the International Sikh Youth Federation and Sikhs for Justice. And Ottawa has now, for the first time, formally recognized their presence and the financial nexus as well. The government report has stated that Khalistani groups are using violent means to establish an independent state within Punjab in India and are suspected of raising funds in multiple countries, including Canada. Additionally, it is also noted that these groups are exploiting charitable donations, drug trafficking and vehicle thefts for financing. The report has also pointed to the misuse of the non-profit sector and contributions from expatriates by Khalistani terrorists. With us on the broadcast is Matty Zweig, a geopolitical expert. Thank you so much for taking our time speaking to us on NewsX World. Interesting report has come in. We'd seen earlier tensions between India and Canada, particularly after Justin Trudeau had left India post the G20 summit in September 2023, raising the death of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, blaming India for it as well. But now we're seeing the fresh government under Mark Carney trying to mend ties with India. This is a crucial report that has come out in that context. What do you make of this? Because for a very long period of time, Canada has remained mum. It has let these Khalistani terrorists operate on its soil with a free hand. So what do you make of this fresh report that has come out?
Well, thank you for having me, Pia. I think nothing is new. And why I say this is very sad, because the same pattern of work of the Khalistani groups with all kind of front groups that they have, NGOs or charity funds or everything you said on Canadian soil, they have doing this also in the United States soil and also in other countries. And this is the same pattern, and they have even cooperation about that with terrorist groups that have been denominated in those countries. Terrorist groups like Hamas, like Hezbollah, they are terrorist groups that they have to be funded with a lot of money. And then they are involved also in drug trafficking, in weapons trafficking. And you say, that there are some groups in Canada like Babbar Khalsa or the Sikhs for Justice and others, but you have more than 25 groups. They are doing this with different names. The Front for the Liberation of Amritsar. You have a lot of groups, and they are covering themselves with the so-called people in the diaspora. People in diaspora, they need to have contact with their home country, so they are helping each other. And this is always a pattern that always lead also to some very nefastos and negative sources in the Middle East, like Iran also. And I think that India also must look about this, and not only about what is happening in Canada, but of course, the admission from a legal point of view from the Canadians is really not very strong, because they have to go to the roots of the money of where it's coming from. In this way, you have also with Hamas and Hezbollah really absurd things, like having rallies and having manifestations in the States with money that is coming from all the world, that is being laundered in those countries, in the US and in Canada, to fund all these activities. So I think the only way to do this is to be strong in front of the government of Canada and to ask them, if you denominate these people terrorist organizations, extremist organizations, why don't you block the source and the fueling of all this money on your soil. And this is really, you know, something that is very, very spread because all these groups, they capitalize and all these charitable funds, and they have to be really a common front between India and Canada to fight these extremist activities if they really, the Canadians, I mean, are saying that they are extremists and they are terrorists. So there must be something, before this was Trudeau, now it's Carney, to sit and to talk about this and to put very, very clear points between Narendra Modi and the Canadians. He has to ask for that. I know nothing is perfect because they can say you also are funding things in your, I know they are capitalizing all these international problems like the relations between India and Russia, etc., and all is linked. But one thing doesn't justify the others. It must be solved between the leaders.
Indeed. Mr. Zweig, I request you to stay on with us.